hurricane perhaps will be the largest hurricane the Atlantic has ever seen, and that it's on a direct path to South Florida.
It's the monstrosity of the storm that gave me all the chills.
If anybody said they weren't nervous, they had to be there. That's not the truth.
All hell just broke loose. People are stranded all over the city.
It was probably one of the, the worst times in our lives.
That was so incredible. Oh man.
The hurricane season of 2017, massive storms ripped across the southern United States. Terrifying winds tore cities and towns apart, and torrential rains dropped trillions of gallons of water. Local governments had the monumental task of not only cleanup, but as the disaster was unfolding, public employees, as always, were first on the scene. When Hurricane Harvey first made landfall in Houston, Billy Wilson of the Minden Square Apartments wasn't too worried.
It started out just raining, and then the wind came. Like I say, I was laying out on the couch asleep. I didn't know it was raining that hard. Somebody woke me up.
But Billy and his neighbors found themselves in a fight for their lives.
We was in trouble.
Some units had water all the way to the ceiling as residents desperately tried to get out.
How quickly did the water rise? Real quick. By the time I got out the couch and walked to the door, it's all in the house.
It was a nightmare, to be honest.
Braxton Coles with Houston's Public Works Department says Harvey tested everyone.
And we were responsible for high water rescue and responding to flood calls.
The service requests just started flooding in. So when I checked, there was close to 800 service requests that were storm water related. You name it, from structural flooding, right-of-way flooding, and inspect storm sewers. So all these have to get investigated by our crews.
Instead of being home with loved ones, Public Works teams were on the ground protecting their residents. Using the powerful dashboards between Cityworks and ArcGIS, they helped their communities prepare, respond, and recover from the unprecedented storms.
Watching Harvey the week before, my thoughts were lots of flooding, lots of storm surge, and would we even have, an island to come back to?
Just a few weeks later, emergency management teams in Florida braced for a catastrophic storm, larger than the entire state.
Installing flood panels, shutters, boarding up, shutting down, electrical mains, plumbing lines, raising elevators, deploying sandbags. Using Cityworks, we were able to identify all of the locations, and that's how we deployed our crews to prioritize which is more important prior to the storm.
And the normally vibrant, full of life Miami Beach became a ghost town, evacuated as the storm hit.
One of the most important things in this kind of events is to be informed so you can be prepared.
Farther up the coast, St. Johns County kept the water on during the storm, and they say thanks to an incredible staff, contractors, and coordination through Cityworks, they kept the public from seeing something it shouldn't.
And the power wasn't on quickly as we would have liked it, but we had backup generators, we had private contractors that we hired, had them on contract and ready to help pump down those lift stations. So, virtually zero spills. That's one of the proudest things that we can speak about from our experience. It's just no sewer overflows to speak of in our whole county.
If we can get the water to them and we can get the sewer out of the streets, that's why we do it.
So our staff that came in here to kind of clear this out.
Those guys were amazing. They had these spider-type machines that were reaching over and getting the asphalt and putting it on dump trucks.
Right. So those are the guys that cleared it out.
Sheila Ingram lives right on the beach. Hurricane Matthew wreaked havoc on her neighborhood in 2016.
Then comes Irma. Irma actually made this even worse than it was after Matthew.
We have, that's our obligations to provide an ability for residents to get back into their property and into their house safely.
One of our mantras in Public Works is we're the first to arrive but the last to leave. because once the emergency's gone, police and fire pack up and go back to their stations and back on patrol, whereas we've got the mess still to clean up.
The city of Gainesville logged nearly 1,000 work orders through Cityworks thanks to Irma.
So you have flooding issues, you have tree issues, you have power lines down.
And being able to track all that information in one place is extremely helpful, especially when we start talking about reimbursement after a presidential declaration with FEMA.
Public employees are charged with being good stewards of taxpayer money. And when disasters happen, public employees often become so much more.
It was bad, you know, it wasn't nothing to laugh about.
In Houston, Billy Wilson and many others walked chest deep in water to a nearby library, and the water started to rise there.
We stayed there till them big trucks came and got them, took us downtown.
Dump trucks came and got you at the library?
Right.
Houston Public Works dump trucks, large enough to make it through the flooding, called in to save stranded residents.
We've lost several dump trucks in the high water rescue missions. You know, they've gotten submerged, but when the stakes are high and lives on the line, dump truck is just part of it. You can sacrifice a dump truck or two if you can save a life.
Since the streets are ours to maintain, the drainage system, the water system, so we will be out there because we have a vested interest in making sure that, you know, the people are safe.